My name is Daniel, I'm 39 years old, and I've been married to Claire for 12 years. When I look back at our wedding day, I still remember the warmth in her smile, the sparkle in her eyes when she said, "I do." Back then, intimacy wasn't something I had to ask for, it came naturally. Touch, laughter, even the smallest moments felt alive. But somewhere along the line, that connection faded. It didn't happen overnight. At first, it was occasional. A long day at work, a busy schedule, or simply being tired. Claire would roll over and say, "Not tonight. I have a headache." I didn't think much of it. After all, everyone has off days. But days turned into weeks and weeks into months. Every time I reached for her, the answer was the same: headache. Not tonight. I began to notice a pattern. Her phone would light up with texts late at night, and she'd smile at the screen but never at me. She always seemed full of energy for her friends, her work projects, and even binge-watching shows until 2 a.m. But the moment I wanted closeness, suddenly exhaustion and headaches appeared. At first, I was patient. I tried helping around the house more. Cooking dinner, folding laundry, handling errands. Anything to take pressure off her shoulders. I thought maybe if she felt less stressed, she'd want to be close again. But nothing changed. If anything, she seemed to take my efforts for granted. I started questioning myself. Was I unattractive now? Had I gained too much weight, lost my charm? Every rejection cut deeper, and every excuse felt like another wall between us. I even considered whether I was being selfish, maybe I was pushing too hard. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. The turning point came one evening after I had spent the whole day fixing the backyard fence she'd been complaining about for months. I came inside, sweaty and tired, but proud to have finished it. I thought maybe this small act would earn me a smile, a kiss, some spark of appreciation. Instead, she barely looked up from her phone and muttered, "I have a headache. I'm going to bed." That night, lying awake alone, I had a moment of clarity. I realized intimacy wasn't just about physical closeness. It was about effort, respect, and emotional connection. And in that moment, I felt like I was the only one trying. So I decided to stop. I stopped folding her laundry. I stopped making her coffee in the morning. I stopped staying up late waiting for her. I stopped doing all the little extra things I thought might make her love me again. I didn't announce it. I didn't argue. I simply pulled back, quietly. First, she didn't notice. But soon, the dirty dishes piled up. The laundry sat unfolded. The coffee machine stayed cold in the mornings. She had to handle things herself. And something interesting happened. Her headaches started to fade. Claire started asking small questions at first. "Did you forget to pack my lunch?" Or, "Why isn't the laundry done?" I simply replied, "I've been busy." I wasn't rude. I wasn't cold. I just mirrored the indifference I'd been receiving for years. One evening, she came into the living room and asked, "Why don't you help me anymore?" I looked her in the eyes and said, "Because for the past 3 years, I've been helping, loving, and giving, and all I've heard in return is, 'I have a headache.' I decided if you're too tired for me, then I'm too tired for everything else." She froze. For the first time in years, she didn't have a quick excuse. No phone in her hand, no smirk, no dismissive tone, just silence. Over the next few weeks, I kept my distance. I still lived in the same house, still treated her with basic respect, but the extra gestures stopped. She had to schedule her own car appointments, cook her own dinners, and even fix her own coffee before work. Slowly, the reality sank in. The man she had taken for granted was no longer bending over backward to earn scraps of affection. And then came the shift. One Friday night, she sat down beside me on the couch, unusually quiet. "Daniel," she whispered, "I think I've been unfair to you." I didn't respond immediately. For the first time in a long time, she was the one reaching out. She admitted she hadn't really been suffering from constant headaches. She confessed it was easier to make excuses than to face the truth, that she had grown comfortable, lazy, and careless about our marriage. She expected me to carry the weight while she coasted. But when I stopped carrying it, she realized how much she had lost. The very next week, she began to change. She cooked dinner without being asked, planned a weekend away, even put her phone down when we sat together. The headaches that had plagued her every night? Gone. It wasn't about pain, it was about effort. When she saw mine vanish, she finally understood how much I had been giving. Now, I won't pretend everything turned perfect overnight. Trust and closeness don't magically reappear after years of rejection. But something important shifted: respect. She started respecting my time, my effort, and most importantly, my need for connection. And here's the truth I want anyone listening to remember. Intimacy isn't a one-sided gift. It's not something one partner can endlessly beg for while the other endlessly withholds. Love is built on reciprocity. If you find yourself giving everything and receiving nothing, sometimes the most powerful move isn't to fight, argue, or plead. It's to stop. Pull back. Let them feel the silence you've been living with. Because sometimes it takes losing your support for someone to finally realize its value. And in my marriage, the day I stopped helping was the day her headaches disappeared.